Hello.
Hello, everybody. God, how are you? Welcome if you've just come over from Instagram. Doesn't Mark look great in a hat? Mark looks so good in hats.
Hiding a myriad of sins.
Honestly, I always say to him, will you just wear that hat? And he says, I don't want to look like a cock. Because he thinks people who wear hats
I do. I mean, I
cocks.
bought this in New York and in a flea store. You know, what do they call them? Flea
But you look
store?
so cool in it. Who likes it and who doesn't like it?
Oh, don't.
Say yes, no.
God.
No, it's up to the people.
Up to the people.
It's the people's choice. What do you think?
Hello, everyone. How are we all?
Good morning.
It's hiding. My hair's done this thing where it was going really curly for a couple of days, and now it's just going really straight.
Put
It's really
on
weird.
or off for
Look,
the hat.
Look. Elijah's no.
yes,
Pollyanna, no.
Yes. Depends what one you want to see. Love it, Kelly Sharp. Lynn, yes. Pamela, on, which I think means no.
Julie
Debbie,
Bryan, off.
fab hat. I love it.
There we go. Oh,
You remind me of Volpierre from Curiosity Killed the Cat.
that's funny, isn't it?
Did you watch him on
Yeah. It's a bit weird, wasn't he?
States Hotel?
Fell from a bit. I want to ask a big question. Can I just ask Miss Sawalha off the telly, what is, in your eyes, Pete Doherty? I felt Pete Doherty was vibes, Reese. I absolutely did.
Oh my God, I'm loving what that's doing with the eyebrows. Turn the ads off because my eyes get caught to it.
Sorry.
So if you're new from Instagram, do give us a wave so we can just shout out your name and welcome you.
What is a metrosexual in your
Isn't that
eyes?
just somebody that just will just is okay with their sexuality, would wear a handbag, would wear nail varnish?
So
I think it's like fluid. I think it's what came before fluid.
Do you think?
I don't know.
What do you think a metrosexual is, guys? I love trotting these. I've noticed at the beginning of a radio show on LBC, they'll trot out all their topics of the day. They'll all get all the people who start commenting, and then after about 5 minutes of us gibbering on, they start to come through.
Lead singer from Curiosity Killed the Cat, and he chatted me up. He did.
There you go. He was off his tits when he did it, obviously.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't mean it.
Well, what a horrible thing to say.
It was a horrible thing to say, and I didn't mean it.
Well, apologise
I apologise.
profusely and
Very yellow.
say
Because
somebody.
Both got checks on today.
Are we coming down the farm?
Look, I've got.
We're like farmers.
It's the Honolulu Marathon. Not that I've run it. I wish I had. Imagine running the Honolulu Marathon in Hawaii.
Oh, it's people's. Metrosexual. We've got an answer here. Denise says metrosexual is just someone who looks after themselves well.
See, I always
think
thought
of
it was
Lee
David.
as metrosexual.
Do you?
Yeah, he always smells nice. His hair's always
Well
washed.
manicured.
His hair's always washed. He's always shaven.
But then there's confusing signals, certainly for some straight
got
men,
nice
because women
socks.
like a bit of rough as well. You know, I don't mean too rough, but I mean, you know.
Well, a lot of women do like really unshaven, don't
Yeah.
they? I hate unshaven, yet I'm married to a man that's always unshaven.
No, I mean, my beard stubble's growing
I just
faster
don't like
with
it.
each
I
day.
can't help it. I don't like it.
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw someone was talking about home ed and a home ed report, but we'll try and answer that later. I'm sorry, I'm stuck now, says Dawny Harvey, thinking of curiosity songs.
What was the famous Curiosity Killed the Cat song? We will get to the news. We just have a little warm up first.
So metrosexual. James May thinks he might be a metrosexual, and his definition, James May from Top Gear, is that he likes art.
I think it's just somebody that's kind of easy with.
But I think
with
you're right. It kind of
their
came
sexual-
before a sort of fluidity, a sort of
It's a kind
comfort,
of fluidity.
a comfort with fluidity in yourself as a man. I think of David Beckham wearing a
Came
sarong.
when he had his sarong, and then when the first man bags came out, was now
bags?
you wouldn't bat an eyelid. Yeah, but I remember years ago I was doing a whole piece on it on Loose Women.
I've
It's
never
would
worn
you
or
go out
carried
with
a man bag.
Would you go out with a man that had a man bag?
I
mean,
wouldn't.
No, but I'm saying this was 10 years ago. This was up for debate. Now you wouldn't even think about it.
Hang on a minute. If I had a man bag, you and the girls would roar with laughter at me if I had a man bag. I know for a fact.
No, we
you'd
haven't
all
booked
rip
for
me.
any outdoor restaurants today. But I'm going to see Stacey's Garden today. I'm really excited.
Charlotte Roberts, my card hasn't arrived yet. Should I have had it by now? It depends when you. Most of them, bar the last 2 weeks, have all gone out. So if you were over 2 weeks ago,
Then send your
then
address
resend
again
your address
to the email.
to Michelle.
To Michelle. Happy birthday.
Oh, here we
Whose
go.
birthday?
That's a good definition. Metrosexual is allegedly imitation of being homosexual without having sex with men.
Is it?
I mean, in a weird way, I kind of understand that.
Is that the definition in the dictionary?
It's kind of, I suppose, because there's... But mind you, is this not in itself a really reductive stereotype to say that all gay men really, look after themselves?
Well, no, because not all gay men do.
No,
It's ridiculous.
absolutely. But there's a cultural assumption, isn't there? That, I mean, women trot it around as much as anyone else, that, gay men smell nice, look nice, dress nice. Well, yeah, maybe you're right,
Well,
Xander. Maybe
more-
metrosexual is that element of being a man.
I think more gay men that I know and have known are like that than not.
I think we should do a How to Stay Married about it.
They take a lot more
Metrosexual
care.
men. I think it's interesting. Because within it, there are parts of it that I would pick and choose that would not threaten
You're
my
not
masculine...
metrosexual.
No, but there are parts that I would be like, absolutely turn my nose up at, as I just couldn't do or couldn't be.
Yeah, like you'd never have a manicure.
Oh my God. I mean, what the fuck?
But you see, neither do I, because I just haven't got time.
And you know what? When
Amelia Walsh would like it known that she loves a hairy man.
Well, Amelia Walsh is a new family guest.
Welcome,
We're going to
Amelia.
sing to you at the
Stay
end,
to the
Amelia
end,
Walsh.
because we'll be singing to you. Welcome.
So, for example, smelling nice, and I have to say Lee does smell very nice, and Lee's helped me smell very nice, actually, in a very indirect way. I put smelly stuff on.
I really hope Lee's watching this now. I don't think he is.
I put my smelly stuff on. Okay, I'm going to tell you when I do it.
Right.
When I see it. When I see my stuff, I put it on, and that's the difference, isn't it? I'm not thinking in the morning, right, I've got my ablutions to do, I've got...
No.
I'm thinking, oh, look, there's some of that stuff you smell nice.
Salsa Trish also likes a hairy man. Faith Goodman says, another chest wax, Mark?
On that point, Faith Goodman, on that point,
made
next
Mark get
time
his
I have a
chest wax.
chest wax, can it be more comprehensive? It's grown back with the
Mark,
vengeance.
you were screaming so much. The girl couldn't work with you. She couldn't work. She couldn't help you. You're honest to God, in this hotel, I don't think we can ever go back there.
I had a
Wherever
stubble
you
chest.
were in the hotel, you could hear him screaming his head off.
I had stubble on my chest within a week. That
Because
was
she
not
couldn't-
comprehensive.
She couldn't help you.
MeTube says metrosexual does not mean not hairy though. I had shorts on the other day and Maddie shrieked. Maddie, this is no exaggeration, she was over there, she went, ah! And I went, what? She said, have you shaved your legs?
I know, you haven't got much hair on your
I said,
leg.
I haven't got any
Show
hair
me
on my
legs.
legs.
It's weird. Do you think it's because you were blonde? Okay, he really hasn't got any
no
hair.
I have no hairs on my back. Thankfully, I have no hairs on my bum either.
You're always so proud of
I
that.
am proud of that.
What? Mark, I've never known a man with hair on his bum.
Have you not?
I swear to God.
I mean, on the bum.
On the bum.
Rubbish.
I am casting my mind through. I can't think of anyone with a hairy bum.
Are you trawler dredging through the cracks of your past?
You're always saying, oh, and I haven't got any hair on my bum. And I always want to say you, over 20 years of marriage, well, who has got hair on their
Are
bum?
you combing through the cracks of your past? Truly.
Stop being an arse.
So good. I might draw the
Amelia
line at a hairy
Walsh, who
bum.
likes a hairy man, says she might draw the line at a hairy bum. But lots of people like a hairy bum.
Shelley Moss says, don't search men with hairy bums on the internet. Now, what you've guaranteed, Shelley, is everyone's
Everyone's now
currently
doing that, Shelley.
searching men with hairy bums on the internet. My hubby has hardly any hair on his legs either, Sharon. It's weird. My granddad didn't either.
Oh, look, Dina Watson, her husband shaves them every spring because he's a cyclist and she hates it when he does.
Oh.
But come on. I mean, how much does the hair on your legs slow you down?
You're joking. She wasn't suggesting it wasn't aerodynamic.
That's why they do it.
Oh, what? That's rubbish, actually. I'd have thought it makes you more aerodynamic because there's that thing where they add to cars. That
Yeah.
When they flip a little bit, and things go...
Yeah.
Makes you go faster. It's like natural flippers, whatever they're called. Zoe said, I had a really hairy boyfriend once. I think I must have been too drunk to notice at the time.
Oh.
But didn't
Did
the
he have a
hair
hairy
get
bum,
in your
Zoe?
teeth?
Mark, stop it!
I mean, if you kiss his shoulder and stuff like that, you can naturally floss with someone's back hair.
Oh, Mark. Right, this is disgusting. Move on.
Oh, Dr. John Campbell's just come up. Nads. Well, Dr. John Campbell's just come up about India. So we're going to turn a corner here because India, bless this country, the country is going through an
So sorry for
absolute
them.
I mean, just an absolute horror
Did any of you
fest.
see the news last night, guys? Wasn't
Yeah.
it just awful?
And I think it's really important to stress, I filmed in quite a few of New Delhi's hospitals. They're really, we're talking state of the, you know, they're proper state of the art flash hospital. We're not talking, you know, we are seeing
This is
and
what they're
witnessing.
saying, that we're seeing the best hospitals
Yes,
in India.
the
So
best
what is
hospitals.
it like?
So what's going on in the rest
out
of
of New
India?
Delhi?
So if New Delhi is looking like this, you can rest assured that the numbers that we're seeing and hearing about in no way come close to what's actually going on. I mean, I was actually on Twitter looking at one of the hospitals that we filmed with, and they put out an SOS an hour ago saying they only have 2 hours left of oxygen. One hospital lost something like 20 people overnight due to a lack of hospital. The Jaipur Golden
Oxygen.
Hospital. 20 people died overnight because they ran out of oxygen. Now,
Where is the oxygen?
Well, the catastrophically sad aspect of this is that the government, believing they were kind of through the worst of it, sold most of one of the biggest exports of oxygen to the outside world about a month ago. They've sold most of their
Where do you get
resources.
the oxygen from? I know we've discussed this
you
before, but I
manufacture
never
it.
really understood
You manufacture it. I mean, it's a different type of oxygen from air, but you kind of you mine it in a sense from fresh
Well,
air.
I don't know if any of you saw the pictures yesterday, but I mean, it really was, and I'm not going to go into the detail, but it was traumatic, absolutely traumatic.
Now,
I mean,
What?
this has really taken them by surprise. I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. We always have to be just a little bit.
Yeah. Now,
Cautious.
obviously, it's really hard to delineate, in a sense, between really vicious variants, but also human behaviour. Now, and I think a huge part of this, unfortunately, is human behaviour, i.e. mass gatherings, religious gatherings, festival gatherings, and all sorts of things that have been going on in India. It is also in the urban centres, incredibly overcrowded country. But yeah, the government
Campbell
did feel
was
they were
saying.
out of it, and in a sense, the second surge, which has taken effect. I just want to stress it. Yes, the variants, but studies have shown that the variants aren't as responsible for the uptick in
Yeah.
numbers as, say, the Kent variant was for us here.
Yeah.
It's about human behaviour.
John was saying that yesterday. So, you know, our hearts and minds are absolutely with the people of India. It's just,
It's
I mean,
horrendous.
it's like hell on earth. And we've certainly been so worried, haven't we, as a country over the last few weeks about this variant. But we do have to, just like Mark says, you have to, you know, just take it one step at a time, because
Absolutely.
we don't actually know whether it's more transmittable. It is because of the big festivals, and like you say, it's like John Campbell was saying yesterday. I mean, I've never been on one of those buses, but he said you cannot believe how packed people are. It's got no chance. You've got no chance of social distancing.
Do you remember when we first met and I'd come back from filming in Muzaffarpur and I'd had that terrible instance of a young girl that we wanted to rescue, but because she was in medical trials, they couldn't rescue. They had the drugs to rescue this girl. They couldn't rescue her. And the main reason the doctor said, I can't rescue this girl. We went the next day. She'd gone from her bed. She had died. I was in terrible pieces. She was the same age at the time as Izzy. I'd offered to fly her to Delhi. He said, if you save this girl, we'll have a riot in our community. Everyone will be smashing the doors down. Why has she got the treatment? And you know, and we had crowds around us because we were filming in this time. I mean, it's a massively overpopulated country.
Remember when I went to the Himalayas a couple of years ago, and we had a coach, so we weren't in the public buses, but then we arrived at the station to get on the train, and I'm not exaggerating when I say my feet just didn't touch the ground.
Right.
Because there's so many people, you're just lifted. It was almost like everyone was lifting everyone through this security gate to get down to the train. And I kept thinking, oh my God, we'll get to the platform, we'll be all right. You get to the platform, it's exactly the same on the platform. Yeah. So, you know, it's the perfect host for this virus, isn't it?
Izzy is my eldest daughter, someone was just asking. Caesar, hi Caesar, hope you're well. There was a new variant discovered in Texas by Texas A&M called the BV1 variant. I mean, variants are going to keep popping up everywhere.
They say there's thousands of them.
Yeah.
There's absolutely thousands of them. So,
and it's just keeping across them, really.
Well, I mean, we are very lucky in this country that we have got enormous amount of testing going on, which a lot of countries don't, and we have this brilliant. what's it called when you're searching for the variants?
Research?
No, when the way we can find them, genome.
Genetic.
No.
Genome research. Yeah,
genome.
yeah.
So
genomics,
we do,
genomics.
yeah, genomics. Apparently we're the leading in the world, so we get to know about things.
Well, it's why we discovered the Kent variant so soon.
Yeah.
It became called Plague Island, was actually because we managed to find it quickly.
Do you know what was really interesting yesterday? That thinking about, because we knew we were called Plague Island at the time, and when we were up to God, what was it, 2,000 deaths a day. And as we look to India, this is what it must have been like for Australia and New Zealand to be looking out at all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think once again, India is really on its knees, its health system. I mean, the reports coming out in the last half an hour are saying things like the health system has collapsed. I mean, what you're looking at there is precisely what we were trying to avoid with the NHS here. It's a salutary lesson.
Overwhelmed.
I think, there's no comfort in saying it will pass because the country's going through it. And because, it's just hell on earth. It's just a horrendous
I
prospect.
don't think that's an exaggeration.
No, it really isn't. So all of our hearts go out. I think the British government is looking at the ways in which we can try and help India, assist India. I think the
How do
global
we get
community
oxygen
has to try and help
fast to them?
Yeah. It's such a sort of sad, dark irony that they exported so much of it only a matter of 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that's kind of obviously the headline news.
Yesterday I was ringing to just check on Mark's. I was trying to book Mark's second vaccine. I was saying to Mark, gratitude again. We must have gratitude for what we have. And the website wasn't letting me book, so I called the number. I was offered multiple different languages that I could book the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
And then within a couple of minutes, wasn't kept waiting for long, spoke to a lovely, lovely chap. He was kind, he was polite, he went through everything. He explained to me why I hadn't been able to book it was because Mark was already booked. I thought, my God, compare that to so many countries in the world, and we just have to be grateful every day that we have this incredible.
Absolutely.
And the faster we get done, they will start helping other countries.
We're buffering. We're just going to flick over to 4G. Hopefully that should work. Marcia Tom's saying, I had an allergic reaction to second vaccine yesterday. Marcia Tom, sorry if we're back, saying, I had an allergic reaction to the second vaccine yesterday, but feel so lucky to have it compared to other countries. Absolutely, exactly. So in other news today, Ghislaine Maxwell has not surprisingly been in the news, denies sex trafficking. So she's pleaded not guilty.
Is there any part of you that thinks she might not be guilty?
No. No, not at all. Not at all. Literally. But she has to go through due process. But, she's a victim as well.
Do we immediately question that because she's a woman? Was she a victim? Or we find it very difficult, don't we, to believe
being kind.
No, because this is the question I always have. I think,
it's a good question,
was she somebody? She had her father was dubious himself. Was she somebody that was always controlled by men? I don't know. What's the other story in there?
I'm sure, but it goes back to the thing that Maddie often says, I think, which is interesting, which is, lots of people go through terrible experiences in their growing up, but not everyone turns to the ultimate act of being evil themselves.
Yeah. Well, no, I know that. No, I'm literally just looking at the human condition, not in any... I've watched those girls and their testimony, and I believe every word they said, she was despicable. But I'm just wondering what the backstory is with her.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. But I'm sure, the fact that she's pleading not guilty, I'll be interested to see. It'll be interesting to see, because what you're saying could be the groundwork of the defence. Absolutely.
Was it coercive control from him?
Exactly.
Was she, But she's always just said that she's always just pleaded complete ignorance to the whole thing, hasn't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's never been any suggestion that she had a difficult relationship with him.
No. She's had a difficult relationship with men, and it is that really tricky sticking point between culpability for terrible behaviour and then the conditioning that's kind of led you to it. Do you know what I mean? It's intriguing because it's moving at a snail's pace, isn't it? Her process.
Well, she's saying she doesn't have enough time to prepare her case.
Right. God, how much time do you need? And am I right in thinking does it fall before court in October this year, I think? The date of the trial.
Her legal team argued that they need months more preparation time following the new charges levelled against them.
And at the moment, the trial date is set for the 12th of July, which if they win in their appeal for more time, will obviously push that back.
So this is because more women have come forward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important. Yeah, I mean, it's important. Due process has to happen.
Due process. But it's just interesting that she's still there. She's still in the background.
And you have
it's still going on.
You have to think of the victims and what it's like with all this. Every time a date is delayed, what the victims have to go through. You know.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he died in prison in whatever way. I wonder if I'd been one of those victims, I would have been so angry about that. Yeah. I would have wanted him to suffer in prison, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Can I ask, in other news that broke last night, Caitlyn Jenner is talking about running for California governor.
Now, she's a real Republican, isn't she? She's very right-wing, isn't she?
I don't know. I mean, I was going to ask, what are her politics?
I think she's right-wing.
But the Los Angeles Times have got up in front of me here, says that...
Sandra will know about this.
Many people in the LGBTQ rights groups aren't necessarily that excited by it. In fact, it's been met with a degree of hostility from a number of trans quarters.
Probably because she's quite right-wing,
right.
Isn't it?
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but...
I mean, it reminds me now. Gavin Newsom, who's the incumbent governor. As far as what confuses me about this story, can someone clarify for me? There isn't. I didn't think there was an election due. Is this? Are they trying to almost sort of bring a no confidence vote in Gavin Newsom, the governor of California? Is that what's going on here? I see. Jenner opposed gay marriage. Really?
Oh.
Really? Wow. And it just shows you, doesn't it? It's Charlotte Roberts. Charlotte, off topic. We'll come back to that in a bit. Charlotte Roberts. Joshua Wickham Young. We'll welcome you later. Thank you very much for joining. What do people think? She is no way right wing, says Xander.
Oh, she's not.
But she opposed.
She's Republican, but not right wing. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There's Leggy Blonde.
Right.
I just don't know anything about her politics.
No.
I just remember her being.
I just didn't realise there was even she could go for it anyway. So she's throwing her cap in the ring for election.
Xander, I've been trying to recall Gavin Newsom for some time as he's not good for California. I just don't know anything about him. What's he?
Well, I just know that he's come in for a lot of... I mean, there's a sort of a feeling of cronyism and hypocrisy, and whilst he's had everyone in lockdown, he's been going out and swanning it with his mates and having meals and and all that kind of stuff. It's weird, isn't it? Both him and Cuomo up in New York. I think Cuomo has been seen to be very efficient, and yet obviously there's this terrible sort of scandal running around his sort of sexual proclivities.
I can't believe that guy on CNN is his brother.
I know, when you said that the other day, I couldn't believe that either. Very serious, very dour, aren't they, pair? I mean, I don't feel like you could have a laugh with them. Cuomo in New York's the kind of guy who, when he shakes your hand, he probably crushes it. He's got that feel about it. He probably crushes your hand. Oh, right, there you go, Andrew Crash. If you watched her Caitlyn show, it was all on her show. She opposed same-sex marriage. She is a Trump supporter big time. Oh, right. I didn't realise that at all.
Shelley Stoches-Levchik, feeling very depressed. I've struggled for a year and a half now. I'm in despair. Oh, Shelley, please, 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 ring the Samaritans. Do not be in despair. You must reach out and get help.
Yeah.
We unfortunately can't help you on here because we're just too
go straight to the Samaritan. Yeah, go straight to the Samaritans
and reach out and get some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sending a big, big hug.
Yeah, 116123, I believe. So now, this is weird. A weird story that was happening earlier this week was this Indonesian submarine. The reason I'm mentioning this broke as we were going live.
So awful.
The submarine, all that's been found is a prayer mat and a piece of Ow!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was your hand in there?
Oh, my God. That really hurt. Yeah.
Oh,
it's fine.
Sorry,
it's all right.
Sorry.
This.
Do you want me to get it better?
No, thanks. Yeah, so the wreckage of this Indonesian submarine, but all they found is a prayer mat and a piece of a torpedo. So they're still trying to find 53 any survivors of the 53-man crew. So that's just breaking news at the moment. oxygen for the missing submarine ran out on early Saturday. What a horrendous thought, a horrendous way to go. I've always found the thought of submarines just utterly horrendous. Yeah, the Dominic Cummings story is there. I suppose, do you know what? I just find the Tories just a bit boring. It's like Cummings is having a go at, I've got no time for Cummings and I've got very little time for Boris. And it's just mudslinging now, isn't it? Who said what? Who said who? I mean, I agree, Faith. It's a story. It's a story. I mean, obviously Dominic has decided to turn on Boris, but I don't know. You know, just some days I just get a bit bored. I thought Nadia said, do you want me to kick it better? No, kiss it better. Yeah, I mean, you know, for a man who's, I just found Cummings such a unpalatable and unsympathetic character to anyone when he was in power, and how much of this is just sour grapes now he's outside and all that kind of stuff. It reminds me a little bit of the chap who masterminded Trump's ascendancy, and then he came out and then he wrote a book, and I'm sure Cummings is being paid a fortune to write a book about it all, and you know what I mean? It's just, I get it. Now, yeah, smell training. Someone's asking about smell training. Experts prescribe smell training to tackle coronavirus scent loss. Sniffing at least 4 different odours twice daily for several months has been hailed as a cheap, side effect-free treatment. COVID sufferers who've experienced a loss of smell as a result of the virus can try smell training. The nasal exercise involves sniffing at least 4 different odours twice daily for several months. I thought you'd be interested in this now. And it's been described as a cheap and simple.
Yeah.
What? But it's like a HIIT workout for the nostrils.
Yeah. I keep telling
It's just-
Maddie about
they're
it. I've
talking
given
about
her,
it
sent
today,
her
yeah.
the link to watch it on YouTube, but I don't think she has.
Research by an international group of smell experts. Now, let's just stop and think about that for a minute.
Well, they're
Imagine being a smell expert. You wouldn't have wanted to be in the bathroom the other day after Nadia had been.
Mark, shut the fuck up.
You need to be a very powerful smell expert to cope and
Right. Come on, we've got to go in a minute.
Yeah, no, I know. So look, we've got a couple of welcomes to sing, actually. This is going to be embarrassing. We've got Amelia Walsh.
Welcome, Amelia. Hang on. Amelia Walsh, we welcome you.
Amelia, the idea with these is that you turn them into ringtones.
Hang on, let's do it. Try one again.
Properly.
Amelia Walsh, Amelia Walsh. Welcome, Amelia Walsh, Amelia Walsh, Amelia Walsh. Welcome, Amelia Walsh. That's better.
That was
You
nice.
started me off on a wrong note before.
No, I helped you there. I helped you. Now, this is going to be incredibly hard, this one.
Guys, hit the subscribe button
gonna
if
be-
you're new to the channel, and the notification bell, because then it will always tell you, YouTube, when we are live.
Hit the thumbs up, for God's sake.
For the love of
For
God.
the love of God, hit the thumbs up. But we've got to sing a welcome to Joshua Wickham Young. How are you going to manage that one?
Welcome, Joshua Wickham Young. Welcome, Joshua Wickham Young. It's really hard to say
Wickham
Wickham
Young.
Young.
Sorry, I was just looking away because it was
If I do
excruciating.
Wickham, can you do Young?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, Joshua Wickham.
Young.
Welcome, Joshua Wickham.
Young.
Welcome, Joshua Wickham.
Young.
Welcome, Joshua Wickham.
Young. Maddie has just fallen down a hole of embarrassment. Guys, have a really nice, lovely, wonderful Saturday.
Love you,
Enjoy
miss
the
you
sun.
already. Don't
Be
go changing.
safe. And just remember, don't forget. Don't forget.